Is he really talking about indoctrination again? You bet your sweet ass I am. That's my first idea for the opening line of this video. The second one was, oh, that's just what you was raised to believe? Baby, you indoctrinated. Let me know down in the comments which opening line you liked better, or if you hated them both, that's cool too. Just let me know. I talk a lot about indoctrination on this channel, and why do I do that? Well, because I think that most people believe what they do, especially about religion, because of indoctrination. What is indoctrination? Well, I'm glad you asked. Indoctrination is the process of teaching a person or group to accept a set of beliefs uncritically. Let's talk for just a minute about indoctrination. The majority of people in the United States are Christians. The majority of people in India are Hindus. The majority of people in Iraq are Muslims. Do you think that's an accident? Most people believe what they do about religion because that's the way they were raised. That's the way that their parents believe. That's the way that the people around them believe. The first crack in the foundation of my Christianity was deconstructing that indoctrination, realizing that I believed what I did because my parents believed it and because the majority of people around me believed it. When you're told something is true as a child, you believe it. Santa Claus, Tooth Fairy, whatever, all of those things. You believe them because you were told that they're real. The difference between Santa and the Tooth Fairy and God is that eventually you're told that these were just made up, but you're never told that this one was, because the parents still hold the belief that this one is real. The indoctrination remains. The first thing that made me question my faith, and what actually led to me being an atheist rather quickly, was when I was at my old job. I used to walk around the building on breaks just to try to get some exercise, to de-stress a little bit. I worked in a shipping office and it was a stressful job. So I would go outside, walk around the building, and I had a friend, coworker there, who worked up in the front office, but he would also go outside and smoke cigarettes. So when I walked around the building, I would eventually get to where he was smoking sometimes. And he was a preacher before, but now he didn't believe in God anymore. So as I was walking, I stopped and we started talking. And he asked me if I was a Christian, and I said yes. And he asked me why. And I gave the reasons, that I believe that Jesus was real and that Jesus died and rose again and that, God created everything. And then he told me that he used to believe the same, and he was a preacher, and he went to college and took a religions class and learned that there were a lot of other religions with very similar origin stories to Christianity, and that it borrowed from a lot. But then he told me that the reason that he stopped believing was because he realized that wherever you lived, you were most likely going to believe something differently. So, and I think that's so true. And that immediately registered with me, and a light bulb went off, and I was like, whoa, if I were born in India, I would not be a Christian. If my parents were of a different religion now, I wouldn't be a Christian. And I know that's not true for everybody, but I think it's true for like 80 to 90% of the world, that you believe what you do because your parents do. Now, the point of this video is that indoctrination goes beyond just religion. It's very strong in the religious world, but your other beliefs and worldviews are also affected, like politics, like mine, for example. The first time I could vote was 2004, so I'm kind of dating myself. I'm getting older. And in 2004, I voted for George W. Bush. In 2008, I voted for John McCain. In 2012, I voted for Mitt Romney. And in 2016, I voted for Donald J. Trump. Now, I wasn't ever a huge Trump fan, but I had been told my whole life that Democrats didn't want what was best for me, that Democrats just want to redistribute wealth, that they want to take money from the hardworking people and give it to those who don't deserve it. And so I was just always, I vote Republican. That's what I do. That was indoctrination. I never critically examined Why? I never really thought about those things. And it's funny because I think a lot of people deconstruct their political views first. But for me, I deconstructed my religious views first. And I still held on to those political views for years. Now, I'm not saying that if you don't believe in God that you have to be a liberal. Of course not. There are plenty of atheists who are conservatives too. All I'm saying is question those things you were taught. Question why you believe the things that you do. It's not healthy just to do something because you were told that it was right or real or whatever. It's up to us to examine all of those beliefs, all of our worldviews, to really look at the foundation of why we believe. Do we truly believe those things, or were we just told to believe those things? Question everything. It's one of my favorite phrases because questions don't hurt anything. Questions are healthy. Questions are good for us. Many questions have easy answers, but many questions have really complex answers. What has changed in your worldview? Politics, religion, relationships. That's another one. You can grow up believing that people are supposed to act a certain way in relationships, gender roles, or that, the woman is supposed to do this and the man is supposed to do this. And this is how people communicate. If you were raised to believe certain things are true about relationships, you might want to take a step back and look at that too. I think if everyone really truly asked themselves why they believe certain things, and I know that there are things in my life that I should probably question even more or look into even more about why I believe them or why I think that way. That's just the way I was raised isn't a good enough answer, because you might have been raised wrong, or it dissuades critical thinking, and we need to encourage critical thinking. If you want to support the channel, you can do so by liking this video and subscribing for more ex-Christian and atheist content. Thank you to my patrons who are shown on the screen right now. And remember, you don't need a God to be good. See you in the next video.